Welcome to another episode of Lead Forward, the podcast where we decode leadership, growth, and the real stories of success. In today's episode, we are sitting down with someone who works with entrepreneurs and helps them think, lead, and scale. Anand Kumtekar, the founder and the driving force behind Aspired Leaders Solution. Anand isn't just a business coach, he's a clarity architect, someone who helps business owners move from chaos to control, turning business owners to real strategists. In today's episode, we are deep diving into the real mindset shifts, the hard truth, and the silent killers of growth, the kind of insights that you need to help and change the way you run your business. Anand, welcome to Lead Forward. It's a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you, Sanjit, for having me again. It's a journey which we are looking forward, and I'm more than happy to look forward to your valuable questions going ahead. Thank you once again.
So, firstly, Anand, I'd like to ask you most business owners think they work really, really hard, but still don't grow. So, as a coach, I'd like to ask you what do you think is the real reason behind this?
Interesting question. The real reason behind this is they do a lot of hard work, and the question is whether they are putting the hard work in the right direction, I would say, because time and again, when I've interacted with all these business owners who are working really hard to scale their business, they have been completely exhausted in one thing.
Okay.
And that one thing is nothing but firefighting. And that firefighting is given 90% of the energy and the time gets wasted behind firefighting. So the moment they, from an operator mode to a strategist mode, when they switch themselves, uh, that's when the magic happens. That's when they can see that they are a little bit at ease when they strategize well, and that's where their vision and mission they all get aligned. So it's very important to have that learning curve from an operator mode, which is more on a firefighting, to move from that mode to a strategist mode. That's where they will see the real magic happening.
Fantastic. That's such a powerful distinction. Not hard work, but misdirected hard work, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, Anand, when you help someone shift, as you said, from
Yeah.
being an operator to a strategist,
Yeah.
what's usually the first mental block that they come across?
Like I mentioned earlier as well, the mental block, what comes to their mind is the willingness to learn, first of all. Second, to adapt that learning. That's again a part of mindset. And third, the time what they require to put behind these learnings. So these three things go hand in hand for any business owner. And that's going to be the part which is very crucial for their success.
Great. Thank you for that. So, Anand, what was that defining moment that made you realize that business coaching was your calling?
Interesting, Sanjit. I nearly saw one of a very close business owner going through almost kind of a shutdown in his business. He wanted to take that call. Only reason being he was completely exhausted with taking decisions for every tiny, small little things in his company. And that's where I felt that if we do not intervene with these individuals, business owners, at the right time or do not realign them, they're going to be completely burned out. I mean, exhausted and then finally get frustrated and sell the business away. So that was a very defining moment for me, thinking that instead of taking coaching as a career, why don't I take this as a responsibility and share my learnings so that these business owners can learn that and implement in their business with ease. That was the defining moment for me.
So, for me, that line businesses don't fail,
Yeah,
founders get tired.
yeah,
And that hits really deep, right?
absolutely.
And that
Yeah.
is true in today's scenario as well. So, I'd like to ask you when you decided to make this shift and possibly take on this responsibility of being a business coach, what was the first thing that you wanted to change about business owners?
I think the first thing, if you ask me what I would like to change, definitely the decision fatigue part, where every business owner goes through the grind, want to ensure that he he eases out on the decision fatigue. He doesn't drains out 90% of his energy behind it. And that is possible through effective learnings from coaches like us who can, deliver, who can probably share the knowledge and the learnings what is required to do a particular transformation with these business owners.
Okay, great. That's nice to know. So, Anand, you hear this most of the time. Business owners saying, I know to run my business more than anyone, right? So, how do you get through someone who thinks they don't need coaching?
Great question, Sanjit. I don't argue with them, but I ensure I ask them one very simple question to all these business owners is if knowledge was everything for them, then they would have easily reached their destination by now. That really doesn't happen. So, coaching is nothing but showing all these business owners their blind spots. And so, when you look at, let's say, as a business owner in the mirror, they get to know the truth because a mirror can show you your face, but it will not show you the exact truth. That's what I would like to probably highlight for this particular question.
Beautiful analogy, Anand. A mirror doesn't change your face, it reveals it. And that's gold. When that realization hits these business owners, how quickly do you see the shift from resistance to openness?
Resistance to openness, Sanjit, takes about 4 to 7 months. This I'm saying as per Marshall Goldsmith leadership global assessment practitioner data, typically in business coaching.
Okay.
That's about
Yeah, the
the
timelines,
timelines.
which is about 4 to 6 months, you
Four
mentioned.
to seven
7 months.
months.
Okay, great. So, what's the biggest silent killer of profits inside businesses today?
It is not competition, it is confusion. A confused leader will confuse its team, and a confused team will not have a clear roadmap. So they lack clarity, which will indirectly affect the company's or the business owner's profit and loss.
Okay.
So that's where this is what the bottom line would be.
So, confusion, and that's such a sharp insight. And it makes so much sense when you think about teams losing clarity. So, what's the hardest truth you had to tell a business owner?
The hardest truth which I have shared with any business owner, Sanjit, is it's about leadership. It's he's the problem, not the team actually. So leadership is not only about control. It's not only about showing authority. It's actually like a thermostat. Let me put it that way. Now, why thermostat? Because it has a pulse and it will work as per the leader's body language and his behavior and his attitude towards the team. So that's how I would sum it up.
So, that's raw and real, Anand. You are the problem, and it really takes courage to tell that to a CEO. So, how do they usually respond in that moment? Do they resist it or do they reflect on it?
My experience has been great. They definitely reflect. I'm a little lucky on that, on the type of business owners I have interacted with because of the generation which they belong to. Some of them really reflect fast, and they are willing to learn. Some resistance are there, but on a scale of 10, at least 8 people, I can tell you very confidently, they have reflected, they have accepted that they are the problem, and they're willing to change themselves. They're willing to transform. So that's the good sign, I would say, when you have to sometimes put, yeah, it's awkward, but yeah, it works. Most of the clients whom I've interacted.
Like they say, growth always happens outside your comfort zone,
Absolutely.
right? And when some things change,
Yeah,
also so does successes and better things to follow, right?
absolutely. Spot on, Sanjay.
So, if there's one area every entrepreneur must master to scale, what would you pick?
I would certainly pick pricing. Price is power. And if the business owner understands how to position himself, his company, and the pricing on his products,
Right?
he will be the market leader.
Okay.
So they don't have a marketing problem, most of these business owners. But pricing is a big, big challenge for most of the business owners because they are scared of competition, they're scared of losing the client. So that's where we step in, we guide them, we give them the direction, and we teach them how to price it correctly. So price is not a number, it is like creating a self-worth. That's going to be the key for the business owner, Sanjay.
So, pricing power equals self worth. That's a masterclass right there. How do you help clients break free from the constant firefighting cycle?
It's a combination of many things, Sanjit. Firefighting is something, like I mentioned in the previous question, it can be overcome as long as that learning curve is open with the business owner and he's willing to accept few changes which we are recommending. And it's like a journey which goes on, hand holding journey on a weekly basis, that commitment, that time. So if he's disciplined, the self-worth he can easily build within 3 to 7 months. That's going to be the solution for
Okay.
every business owner out here.
So, pricing power equals self worth. And that's a masterclass right there. So, Anand, let me ask you, how do you help clients break free from the constant firefighting cycle?
Thank you, Sanjit, for the question. We help them in building the right systems,
Okay.
a system which can take care of their firefighting, and it can run completely online when they're away as well. So that's what we believe in, because firefighting will increase your blood pressure to a certain extent, but it will not give you results. It will
Okay.
exhaust you, it will make you more frustrated. But when you have the systems in place, you are more relaxed as a business owner in the long run.
Right. So, I love that. Building a system so you never solve it again. And
Yeah.
that's the mindset shift we're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's like, just to add up to what you asked actually, you build a system in such a way that it is independent of the business owner and it does magic with you even if you're away on a holiday. So
Right.
that's what I believe. So I always try and encourage and tell business owner, you build a system which can automatically solve your problems,
Right.
not the other way around that you are involved. So that's what I mean by
On a day
building
to
it
day
on a
basis.
day-to-day basis.
Right.
That's right.
Amazing. So, can you share me a transformation story that still gives you goosebumps?
This happened with one of my interior designer clients, and he said very clearly to me, Anand, today I think I don't own a business, I own a job. And within next 12 months, he went on a 30-day vacation and his profits actually doubled. And for
Wow.
me, that was a biggest transformation which I've heard from a client after he took the services on coaching. And he came back to the company after the holiday and he was 3 times motivated more because everything moved online for him. So that for me was the biggest takeaway from any business owner whom I have coached in
Fan-
this journey.
Fantastic. So now that story perfectly captures why coaching matters, right?
Absolutely.
And turning a job into a business.
Yeah.
So if you had to boil the transformation down to one habit that changed everything for him or for anyone else, what would that be?
But one habit is definitely discipline.
Okay.
Now, what I mean by discipline is if you are not focused on doing a particular task which matters the most for any business owner, and you have to keep on doing that repeatedly, you build a habit. So once you build a habit, it comes in your DNA. Once it is a part of your DNA, you're bound to be successful. There are no two ways about it. You cannot go wrong. So for me, that one thing is discipline as a
Great.
game changer.
Fantastic. And that definitely is a game changer.
Absolutely.
So, Anand, what separates businesses that grow from those that stagnate?
It's definitely not talent. It is the execution rhythm. Winners, they do important things like scorecard, weekly tracker, accountability on a consistent basis. And by doing that, the transformation is clearly seen in the business owner's results. And we encourage that as a coaching because that's where puts discipline in place. And the growth is bound to come when you do all these areas in a very systematic way and in a focused manner.
Okay. So, execution rhythm, that's a game changer, like
Yeah.
what you mentioned.
Yeah.
So, you also mentioned something on the lines of weekly reviews and scorecards. Is that what builds accountability as a culture within an organization?
Absolutely. When you follow all these, you have a culture of accountability.
Okay.
And it's not only the owner, it's
Mm.
the team also gets involved.
Okay.
And everything works in a very disciplined manner.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it'll be.
So that makes it that your team becomes part of your progress and success of
Absolutely.
the
That leads
organization.
to the next progress outlook, what the business owner is looking for.
Perfect. So if you could leave entrepreneurs with one final message today, what would that be?
My one final message to any business owner, Sanjit, would be build a business like a legacy. Let me put
Interesting.
it that way. Because if you're building a business only for generating profits and income, but doesn't have a vision to build it like a legacy, you may fail in the long run. Build it in such a way that you can easily sell it to somebody
Okay.
in the long run. And whoever is buying it, he or she feels that it creates a wow factor for the person who is buying it. So my my one take would be build your business just like building a legacy.
I'm Sanjit George, and this is Lead Forward, the podcast where we explore what it really takes to grow people, profits, and purpose. Until next time, stay curious and keep leading forward.